You're the boss.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome Dennis Praet and Jesse Stahler, please, for an NSL live talk session on June 18?
Yeah.
18, oh.
18, nice.
June 18, and we are at a special place. Dennis, you are the guest here. Explain us quickly where we are and what we're doing here.
We're at the training facilities of the Golden Knights. We were lucky enough for them to invite us here to train next to them, and it has been an absolute pleasure. They've been treating us really well, and yeah, this is kind of their operation room.
Yeah, it's a nice little place.
We don't know all the secrets yet, but
and we have it decorated too, to make it a special occasion. As we can see, we have Dennis's gear up there next to Jesse's. Jesse, this is where you're home here.
It is. Yeah, this is Laurenburg Maxon training facility for the Golden Knights. Primarily the tandem section and the comp section for the Golden Knights. This is where our offices are. This is where we train, usually Monday through Friday when we're in town. And we've been here since early 2000s, actually.
Early 2000s. I was just wanting to ask, how long. It looks like, it seems like it's been here forever. The facility itself, it's a good old airport. Yep. Coming from the Second World War, probably, or when?
Yeah, I don't know. The airport actually owns the building. We just rent the facility from them. Mm-hmm. But the team was at PK Airport before that, and we moved out here just because we have aircraft that can't land at Paraclete EZ or Paraclete XP. We had to come out here so the demonstrators could also be out here training their maneuvers and such. So it just makes a little bit more sense for the Golden Knights organization.
So Jesse Stahler, team captain of the Golden Knights forward team, Dennis Praet, team captain, new team captain of the NMP PCH HayaBusa. How did this happen? You are actually arch enemies. You try to beat each other, on the battlefield, which is in those 35 seconds. And now here you are training together at the Golden Knight facilities. How did it come to that?
Well, from my point of view, I was a new guy when HayaBusa came over, I want to say in 2016. Yeah. We had GK F4, our female four-way team. So it was less competitor on competitor, right? It was more friendly. HayaBusa came over really to help the girls with a few things. Trying to get them ready for, I think it was Nationals that was coming up. And I remember that went really well. It was really cool getting to see HayaBusa up close. We watch a lot of their video. And in my eyes, they revolutionized four-way in the last, last 2 decades. A lot more rotation. It's kind of East Coast versus West Coast. But took a lot of translation out of moves, and it was a lot faster. It looked smoother, effortless at times. So anyway, now doing a four-way with my guys, my team, we just kind of thought, hey, we're both military, let's try that again. It would be good. Middle of the season also, it's a good way to up the ante, as the Americans like to say. It makes it feel almost like a competition, being on the same plane with each other. So, what might just seem a normal routine training day, now all of a sudden you feel like you're at a competition. And it's wonderful for the teams because it kind of brings the best out of both.
But you're not really, like when you came and you were helping the Golden Knights female forward team. I saw you on a picture yesterday there actually as a coaching them. In 2016 I wrote something about Jennifer's profile.
Okay.
Was posted yesterday. And I found a photo there where you were coaching actually the team you're on that.
I don't know who I was coaching at that year. That would not. That's I was probably being coached by somebody.
There you were probably coached, but you were coaching. Surely you're helping the female forward team.
Don't tell them that. I hope they're not watching. No.
It looked like they were listening to you. So I have to find that photo.
Oh.
Anyway, so. you were really helping them, with advice, at least a little bit. You knew they were not competition for you because they were four-way women, you're four-way open. But that is not the same here now. You're not really debriefing together and talking, do you? No.
Well, I think, well, first of all, in my opinion, the sport is too small to have enemies. If you have enemies in this sport, it will not grow. So I think it's great, as Jesse said, to be in the same plane together. It takes away from the daily routine to have your competitors there. It's also a completely different ball game than it was in 2016. HayaBusa is rebuilding with a lot younger people, very inexperienced. So we're not anymore where we were a couple of years ago, but that's good. And I mean, it's hard not to give anything back when you get so much from the Golden Knights here. Yes, we're both Army, so that makes it a lot easier. Well, that does everything basically. But I mean, we have great facilities. The plane runs however we want it. So, and it again, the sport is too small for like secrets, or like we're here also to push the sport, and I think that's what things like this do.
And you are living in the barracks in Fort Bragg, right?
Yeah.
So you're not in a hotel somewhere here or an
No.
Airbnb or whatever.
No.
You are going military.
Yeah, we're doing their training. Their to become a Golden Knight, the facilities where the candidates stay, that's where we're staying now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. You don't see that very often. Although I've heard that there were sometimes cooperations already with a Brazilian team.
Yeah.
Or other. Are you having some other teams too that you're inviting actually to?
Well, Rhythm actually, STC Rhythm was here for a few days last month, and as far as like the full experience that HayaBusa is getting, again, it's unique because they're military. It makes it a little bit easier, but this is something that the team used to do a little bit more often, and we're just trying to get back to that. I agree with Dennis, the sport is too small to not reach out. So even civilian teams, I'm not sure what that might look like in the future, but it would be great if the Golden Knights could either host a local event here, or just some way to bring the community together in the middle of the season. Just give us one more event, but we'll see. We'll see what the future has.
Well, we have one event coming up this weekend actually. The Summer Classic at Paraclete XP, and you will compete there. You will not because you are traveling back on Saturday. But Airspeed is coming, so we have not only a little meet here on the weekend, and it's a pretty significant measuring going on there again. Probably first the Shamrock Showdown, same lineup, with the Golden Knights, and the same Airspeed lineup.
Yep.
Too bad that HayaBusa being here cannot participate in this, but we didn't know early enough.
Yeah. We have to give our planning very early to our high command in Brussels to like plan everything. In the military, everything is in boxes, and that is from them to them. And yeah, maybe if we would have known earlier, but that would have been needed to know way earlier, then we might have shifted, but it wasn't possible now. So, and we don't tend to do like very long overseas camps, because then usually at the end of the camp, it just performance goes down, and you're like, what, we need a break. So yeah, but I think for the Golden Knights, it's nice to go into the Summer Classic meet having spent like this time with another team in the plane, and get that vibe going already. So yeah, I hope I wish them well. That's 9 win.
And you're just watching that anyway, because you will be at the World Championship next year with Airspeed Golden Knights. We don't really know by now how it's going to be like. So you're watching it rather than participating in this battle. But it will be exciting, for knowing this, that we have like 2.5 months now, 3 months until the national championship, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's farther down. Right now we're looking at nationals, or I'm sorry, before nationals, the World Cup in the Netherlands. So we have about 7 or so training weeks that remain. So I think the most important kind of metric we can pull out of this weekend with airspeed is where do airspeed and Golden Knights stand with one another, but then how has training prepared us for the ultimate World Cup, where we all get to see the French, we all get to see each other, and I think that's going to be the highlight of our season.
So you will have actually this year, you have the Shamrock, you have the Summer Classic, you have the World Cup before you go to the Nationals.
Right.
So that's interesting, to go from one plateau to the next one.
Sure.
We had some pretty interesting. You mentioned SEC Rhythm XP a little earlier, and that brings me back to there were some special occasions actually happening here. I posted a video this morning that David gave me yesterday, and which was like a fun jump between the two forward teams. Do you know what? Well, of course, you were a part of that because you were the two-way who were holding on to
baton.
something that connected you.
Yeah.
What's the story of that, Jesse? You can tell the whole story. I know a little bit of it, but tell us the story.
Well, in the military, there's kind of a tradition like when a foreign military unit or country visits another country, they're like gifts, let's say, and that was one of the, I think, classic gifts of the Golden Knights to a foreign country. It also says on the baton, passed by in midair.
Well, if you're handing it out, it's not an original piece. I mean, it's
No.
not 50 years old or something, but the story is that old, right?
Yeah, it goes all the way back to 1961 with Steve Snyder, and I forget his teammate at the time, but they actually drew up these sketches. So Snyder became the owner, I believe. He started Alti. Alti 2 is the altimeter he developed, ultimately. And if you go to Alti and visit them, they have this awesome diagram that shows the design of the maneuver where two jumpers would get out from two different airplanes, one with the baton in hand, and then the other jumper would land with that baton, proving that they met up in midair. So it was remarkable in 61. No one thought it was possible. So the Golden Knights kind of adopted that maneuver called the baton pass, and for safety reasons, don't always jump it in midair holding on to it. We typically have like a case for it and we jump it into the air show and hand it off to the person. But while we're here at a training facility, it's extremely safe. We're over no hazards, so we like to get back to the tradition of the maneuver. So we like to pass that midair between the teams, and it's really cool. It's a great photo opportunity, but it does connect us to the roots of the sport. Once achieving something that was once thought to be impossible, which you could say that's an example of like bringing HayaBusa here to train alongside of us. Like it's still a milestone being able to train with one another here at Laurenburg. So it's a little memento they can take back with them. But hopefully it's many more years to come. And you can watch that now. The passing of the baton is, we don't want them to hold hands here. Not necessary for that, but they did it in free fall, and it's recorded by David, who was world champion in 2016. When the story begins, and you can watch it how they're switching it. First, I thought it was just an 8-way fun jump kind of. It was great, but then I said, what are they? It's so slow. It's not really an 8-way sequence or anything. There's something else is going on. So then eventually I saw there is a funny piece of something.
The jump was actually a couple of things. First of all, we got the opportunity to jump their big plane, the Dash 8, which was great. So it was not even a twin otter. Then we had that part. Then we did an 8-way jump, but also for pictures. We decided the Knights in the center, HayaBusa's on the outside. So that's why we held the formations a little bit. And then at the end was the passing of the baton. So
it was like, I thought, what's that? That's like slow motion 8-way. I can fly with you if that's what you're doing. That's
it was for pictures.
Yeah, it was something different. And then you mentioned Rhythm a little earlier, who were here. And you did a similar thing with them too, right?
Yeah, we did. Again, this year we're just trying to get back to fostering a culture, of all these, open teams that we get along well, but we only see each other typically a few times at competitions. So it's really nice to be able to train alongside. You know, our schedules are also crazy and very different. It's more of a logistics issue, but we tried this year, and we've had, again, some success. STC did come down, and it was wonderful having those guys, and we did something similar in freefall. I just want to say, when we came up with the plan, and we're like, hey, you know, Dennis, we're going to pass this thing in midair. Dennis was like, yeah, let's do more than that. That's, you know, let's do some 8-way. Let's, you know, launch a chunk from the dash 8. And he had all these plans. So we had like phases of the jump. And when Dave came out, his artistic self, I thought he was going low at the moment, but he got a really cool shot of the dash 8.
Oh, it's on the video too.
You know, on his head, on his back, you know, as the plane's going away. It looks awesome on video.
Yeah.
But it was just great because he just jam-packed that jump into so many different things. And it went well for one shot at it. Yeah, we were pretty happy.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that Doug Barron got really touched by, because he apparently knew some about it, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Doug's father jumped in the sport, but Doug definitely knew the significance of it, again, how old of a maneuver it was. So yeah, as soon as I said it and brought it up, he knew exactly what I was talking about. And it was just neat. We actually began our training camp with them that way. So it was an interesting way to start the camp, and yeah, they had a good time doing it.
Lovely tradition. Well, we had more interesting occasions happening here today. We didn't really have much. I didn't see much HayaBusa training. Dennis, what happened today?
We had a cutaway today, and apparently there's a lot of swamp on the other side of the airport, so the boys are swimming now, looking for that canopy.
While we are talking, they're swimming.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I came, actually, there was a long debriefing session going on in the way, and I was, what are they looking at? And it was a swamp. It was footage from where could the parachute possibly be.
But this again, a big thank you to the Knights. They send up the plane, the otter, to like circle over, and they help us out tremendously. So we haven't found it, but I mean the effort has been put in.
Yeah, you know, it looks like almost, it's like Florida. It's a swamp.
Yeah.
So everybody got pretty dirty and will come back exhausted, and all right, our training is over for today for sure.
Tomorrow we'll try again.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
Jesse, Dennis, pleasure to get some insights of your training here, and I hope it will continue like this with a great cooperation between NMP, PCH, HayaBusa. I'm going to be Sonic now. Between NMP, PCH, HayaBusa, and the Golden Knights.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you, Kurt.
Goodbye.